Hi, y'all. Welcome back if you have been with me, and welcome to those of you who are just joining. This is the Gratitude Becomes You podcast. Again, I'm your host. My name is Nia, and I am so grateful that you're here with me. So today our topic is on joy. I'm gonna give a little brief overview of the last episode. So in the last episode, which thank God that one's out of the way because that was actually a tester. So a lot of can I say the word improvisation? Um, and so I had an outline, but I was really speaking from my heart. Um, Obviously, I'm new to this. This is the second episode to this podcast. So I want to give a thank you to all of you who have been gracious enough to watch it all the way through, even through the cringy moments. I do encourage you to leave a comment. Let me know any feedback you have on anything that you want to hear from me. Um, any kind of tips, tricks of the trade, because I am new and I'm just learning. So anything you have for me, I welcome that. But yes, that was really a tester, and I was mainly speaking from the heart. I was very happy with most of what I said. There were some things where I noticed I didn't complete a thought, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I should take it down. Like, I shouldn't put it up like that. Like, that's so incomplete. Um, but then I quickly thought about gratitude and how important it is to get the message out about gratitude. And so, even in its imperfection, I was grateful that I was able to get up that morning and put that word out, even if it was from my heart, unstructured, kind of improv. Um, I was really grateful for it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for coming back and joining me again. Today, I am going to go ahead and talk about joy. At the end of my last episode, I was talking about how I think I'm going to go into joy next. And sure enough, I was reading The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, which I am still reading the book. I meant to bring it into the video with me, but next time I do believe I'll bring it in. Um, the book is really about embracing our imperfections. And in that last episode, I was talking about how maybe I might bring up joy. And it just so happened that the next chapter I read, and I kid you not, the next day I started reading again, and the next chapter I read was around joy. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of joy and gratitude in challenging times. Just because, you know, we all tend to think that joy and happiness are the same thing. Um, They're not really. So, in a world filled with challenges and uncertainties, the practice of joy and gratitude can be a guiding light to help us cultivate a deeper sense of self love. Um, in turn, that love comes out towards our neighbors. We're able to follow the Matthew 22:39, which tells us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. We're reminded that self love is the foundation of loving others. So, during hard times, I know that it's difficult to feel a happy emotion. However, joy is the underlying bridge between gratitude and happiness. Joy is an innate part of self. Um, it's cultivated by our experiences. So, what happens is we practice gratitude. So, whether that be a gratitude journal or celebrating your small wins, gratitude buddy system where you have somebody you talk to about all the things you're grateful for. Even if you give your friend a call and say, hey, let's talk about what we're grateful for, mindful gratitude meditation, even if you're into meditation. I enjoy meditation, and just saying thank you alone. Um, if you're listening to meditation music, or if you, like me, sometimes I like to be just silent. And in that silence, I'll internalize thank you, just saying thank you. And this just helps me to manifest that gratitude in my heart. I feel my heart opening up for the day. So, in those difficult moments, it's important that we practice gratitude to cultivate joy, because what joy does is it gives us the hope that we need to go out and experience things. Hope is also a part of this, which I may go into the next episode, so stay tuned. Um but yeah, joy in challenging times is that underlying emotion. It's almost like an emotion, like you almost feel it. So the difference between joy and happiness, the best I can think of right now is um, happiness would be going out to a birthday party and really having fun. Joy, on the other hand, is the birth of a new baby. It's that deep emotional realization that there has been a wonderful thing happening in your life and it changes your life. So, gratitude cultivates and waters that joy, and innately, you'll start to be more rooted in joy, rather than defaulting to the brain's normal mechanism, which is the fight or flight mode, survival, if you will. So, I encourage us all to keep Matthew 22:39 at the top of our brains. Um, Loving our neighbors as we love ourselves is one of the most important commands. It's the second to loving God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. So if it is the second highest command, then we should be thinking about that on a regular. How can I love my neighbor as I love myself? And if we're loving ourselves well, we love our neighbors well. So today I want to give a definition of joy. I found a couple. Joy as a feeling, if we're looking at it as a feeling, it's a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. Again, the biblical perspective of joy is a lasting emotion from trusting in God's promises. I did find a quote from Brene Brown's book that she shared, by Adela Rogers, St. John's, and she put joy as a step beyond happiness. Happiness is a sort of atmosphere you can live in sometimes when you're lucky. Joy is a light that fills you with hope, faith, and love. Going back to what I said, joy cultivates hope, which brings you to the next step, which is experiences. When you have a hopeful heart, you can experience more things. You want to go out, you want to do things because you feel excited about life. And joy is a cultivation or a culmination of both happiness and gratitude practices merged together into one, and that's who you are. So, gratitude does become who you are once you've practiced that. It's like Steph Curry, he's a basketball player, right? How did he become a basketball player? Because he wasn't born a basketball player. He cultivated his mastery into being a basketball player. So he practiced and he manifested. That's the best way I can put a gratitude practice. If you're not into sports, then you can think about it in many ways. How did you become whatever professional you are, or whoever you are, an artist? How did you become an artist? You practiced your craft, you honed it, and you mastered it, and now you're an artist. So, this is why gratitude becomes you is so important to me, because I'm grateful and I'm joyful. Um, Joy doesn't always show. It's not. like I said, it's not an emotion where it's always on the forefront. You can be in a difficult situation and still find joy in the peace that you have in that situation. And the only reason you have that peace is because you've practiced gratitude. You've opened your heart to be grateful, to be grounded, to be centered. Um, but we have to align our mind and our soul to become grateful, to become gratitude. Um, let's see. And then let's talk a little bit about um, Brene Brown's book. So I am still using a structure here because, like I said, I don't want to be, chatty. So just bear with me as I start to build up my momentum and really get into this. But we're going on to Brene Brown's book, chapter 479, page 79. Um, Again, like I said, she shared the quote from Adela Rogers St. John's. And Adela Rogers St. John's broke down the meanings of both happiness and joy in the Greek. The origins of happiness in Greek um, is the word let me not say this wrong, Makarios, and it's used as an example of like the freedom a rich person may have from the normal worries that somebody who's not rich may have. It's that they received good fortune and they have the money and the health and they're able to enjoy life free of those. I don't know so much how many rich people actually are, but if they're practicing gratitude, hopefully they're in that abundance feeling. They're feeling abundant. And then she broke down the Greek word of Cairo as joy. And Cairo means the culmination of being or to rejoice. Um, so being able to rejoice in our day to day creates a more um, creates a better environment for us to cultivate relationships with just even with our just ourselves, with other people. Um, it manifests that joy into a place of enough. Um, let's see. And then I want to give some psychology to joy too because I did graduate with my bachelor's in psychology. So if you are a psychology buff, if you enjoy the brain like I do, or the human experience like I do, you'll appreciate this part. So what I did is I was talking to my love and he was talking to me about a book he's reading called The Story Brand. And he brought up Maslow's hierarchy of need and it just popped in my head and I was like, "Oh my gosh. The best way to break down gratitude is by having an idea of what we need as people on a hierarchical level so that we can see why we would cultivate gratitude, why we would practice gratitude." So gratitude so there's 5 levels. Gratitude on the physiological level, which is our everyday needs, our basic needs, food, water, and shelter. Once those are taken care of, gratitude is all we feel. I mean, how many times have you had like your food, your water, your shelter taken care of, and you said, I am so grateful that I have food, that I have water, that I have shelter, I have warmth or cool air during the summer. I don't think a lot of times we do stop to think about the importance of those things because without them, we have a struggle, right? We're looking around, we're like, save me. I don't have food. I don't know what I'm going to eat tonight. I've been there. Trust me, it's not fun. Um, I'll give a little ditty on what happened with me. When I was younger, we did suffer homelessness. Um, while I and this is a funny, I don't really think of it as a bad part of my life because it really built my character. It was a struggle in life, but it really built my character. And I just remember nights where we didn't know what we were going to eat, and that was not fun. So when you have that basic need, if you have that basic need, I challenge you to be grateful when you're cooking your meal. Just say thank you. Um, when you're turning off the lights at night and you're getting ready to jump in your bed, say thank you. Um, when you're drinking a glass of water or wine or um, a glass of pop, if you want to drink pop, say thank you. Because even on the physiological level, it's important. When we think about gratitude with our safety needs, being secure, feeling safe, I mean, dangerous situations would be living in your car, or being out on the street homeless. Lucky for us, blessed we were that we had family and friends that took us in, let us stay in their homes wherever we could lay. And so we could be grateful for that. But I could imagine, I mean, we slept in the car once in a while. And even in that, that was like nerve-wracking because you don't know who's going to come up to your car or what's going to happen. So even just on a safety level, um we can be grateful for that. And then when we practice gratitude in relationships, of course, it cultivates love and brightness and enjoyment. And we just want to spend as much time with the people that we love as we can because we're grateful for them. We enjoy their presence. Gratitude for your self esteem. Gratitude will help you to internalize even the smallest of wins. So, a small win would be, example, I was supposed to record in the morning. I'm recording in the evening. Um, Woke up with a really bad headache. Um, as it will be, the enemy will attack. Um, Anytime you are encouraged to get the gospel out and teach people how to become more Christ-like, and gratitude is in the Bible. Joy is biblical. It's who we are innately. He's love. He loves us and he wants us to be grateful because he created us. He said the one thing he needs from us is for us to believe that Christ is the way. So, anyways, I woke up with a headache and I was like, I'm not recording. My hair was a mess. I had a headache. I was like, I'm not recording. Mid-morning, I looked at my love and I was like, "Do you mind if we record this evening? Because I got to get this out. I can't let this go." Um, so that's a small win for me. Now, me, I'm thinking nothing of it. So I need to practice that more. This is something I need to practice more is recognizing and internalizing the small wins. A part of the reason why I struggle to internalize small wins is because I do deal with a bit of imposter syndrome. There is a doctor that I heard recently on the Coaches Emporium, or I can't remember what it was. It was an event, a live coaches event, and I will share the information later. Let me make note of that, but I will share the information later. Anyways, her name is Dr. Lisa Orbe Austin. I hope I'm saying that right. And she was talking about imposter syndrome and how imposter syndrome does not allow you to internalize any of your achievements. You'll put it off as somebody else did that for me, or it's not a big deal, or um you know you'll brush it off or you'll change the subject. And while she was talking about that, lights were just going off in my head and I was like, oh my goodness, I suffer with imposter syndrome. I have bouts with this thing. And yes, I still am working on that because I only recently realized what that was. She gives 3 levels of what imposter syndrome, how it develops, their early, usually early childhood development. Um, One can be because you're the strong child, one can be because you're the smart child, and I can't remember the third one. I'll probably bring that up in my next episode as well, imposter syndrome, and we'll go over that a little bit more. Um, but the smart child will grow up being really witty, really smart because they don't want somebody to find out that they're actually not as smart as we all think they are. So what'll happen is if something goes wrong with their intelligence, like they were proven wrong, they'll work 10 times harder to prove somebody else wrong because I got to protect this. I got to protect this MO. Um and then if you're the strong child, oh, she's so strong. She's always been the strong one. You have a fear of somebody figuring out that you have weaknesses. Um, that's me. um, and even with the smart child part too, like I remember for a while I was growing up and I would always think, why am I always wrong? Like every time I think I knew something, I was always proven wrong. And I believe that was part of God's plan to get that out of me. Like you don't have to be right. You can be as wise as you want to be and still know that you know nothing at all. You should always be seeking to learn more. I can now say that I'm grateful that I was wrong in those times because it helped me to create a mindset of I always want to be a student of life. I just always want to learn more. So, to stop babbling, it is important that we recognize our achievements and internalize our achievements. Um, Imposter syndrome is not a way of being, it's a feeling, it's an emotion. It actually is not part of the DSM 5, which is the diagnostic um, guidelines that psychologists use to prognose depression, anxiety, any kind of mental disorder. So it's not, it can't even be it can't be diagnosed. So it's got to be an emotion because mental illness is a physiological thing. It's biological. It's not a feeling. So um yeah, it's just important. Take care of yourself, take care of your mind, and always encourage yourself. And then we have on the last point is self actualization. Um, a grateful heart opens us to realizing our true potential and purpose. So when we can put those 5 things together, we become more of who we actually are. Um, And when that happens, we can read Psalm 23:5, and your cup is running over. So the abundance that comes from living with gratitude is you have more fruitful relationships, you have more enjoyment in life. You can rejoice in those times, you can be excited about those times, and you'll find true happiness in those times. Happiness can be a fleeting emotion. So when we're happy, we want to make sure that in that happiness we find joy, that we're joyful in our happiness. It's one thing to go out to a friend's birthday party and say, "Yay, I'm happy," but knowing you want to get home, you want to go right out those doors. So let's cultivate more joy in our lives. Let's cultivate that little joy bud that's in our hearts. Um, and that's telling us, we're worth it. We're loved and we're blessed. So I want to ask a few reflective questions to get you guys in the comments engaging with me because, like I said, I want to start a community with you guys. I don't know if you visit my website yet, but the website is gratitudebecomesyou.com if you want to go check it out. Also, I have Instagram. It's at gratitude becomes you, all one word. Um, and I'm doing a few other things, but I haven't quite mastered those yet. So meet me on Instagram or at my website. Um, and we can chat there. There's the blog is on the website, so you can check out the blog and leave comments on the blog, or you can leave comments on this YouTube channel, or you can leave comments on Instagram. I'm always looking at them, trying to check out and see who's watching, what's going on, and I'd love to engage with you guys and build community. So, a couple of reflective questions I have for you are: how do you incorporate gratitude in your daily life? If you have a gratitude practice, how do you do that? Um, what are the fruits that you've seen from the practice you've been practicing? Have you noticed any changes in your life? How has gratitude helped you develop a deeper sense of self love? Um, have you reflected on it yet? Um, has there been any real emotion around it? I know with gratitude practices, right away, you won't feel a whole lot. Actually, you'll feel like you're doing it unto nothing. And I hate to say that because you're really not. Faith without works is dead. So you've got to put in the work. And then eventually, one day you'll be out and you'll notice, you met somebody really genuine. Um, or you'll wake up one day and you'll just feel good. um, it's different for everybody, so go ahead and drop it in the comments. Let me know. Have you noticed any fruits of your practice? Or are you still working on it? And if you're still working on it and you feel like there's nothing going on, I can't keep up with it, or why am I even doing this? Leave a comment and we can do this together. I'll help you. I'm willing to help any way that I um, can, because I'm encouraged that each one can reach one. And if I can reach one person, I'm doing my due diligence and it's helping me grow my gratitude practice as well. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to build with you all, to build a community, to get to know you, and to help you self actualize into more of who Christ created you to be. Um, this is the end of the second episode of Gratitude Becomes You. I hope it wasn't too long. Let me know if I'm a bit long winded. Um, but all in all, I love you. Jesus loves you. And I will see you on my next episode. Thanks.